All right, y'all. Jaxson, I'm back in it to win it. Abdul Carter, Jaxson Tar. As we seen what's going on, we saw that Abdul Carter, which is the teammate of quarterback Jaxson Dart. They were actually, I think, drafted in the same draft class. I think both went in the first round, and they're both very important to their team. And the quarterback of the team decided he wanted to go to a Donald Trump rally, and he the one who actually introduced Donald Trump. We actually gonna look at it right now. We're gonna look at it right now.
Please welcome starting quarterback of the New York Giants, Jaxson Dart.
They thought this was fake. That's what Abdul Carter thought. He thought this was fake. They were actually booing him a little bit in the beginning. We know we skip it up.
Follow with me. Go Big Blue. Go Big Blue. Go Big Blue. Go Big Blue.
Man.
What an honor. What a...
But as you see, man, he went and showed, and he was just like, hey, this is where I'm at. I'm with MAGA. I'm on this side. So here's the introduction of him doing that.
privilege it is to be here. And the President of the United States, I'm grateful, I'm honored, I'm pleasured to introduce the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump.
You weren't even sure when you said it.
To be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
All right, so Abdul Carter was just like, hey, you, go back to it. So Abdul Carter was like, yo, I thought this was AI. What is we doing? Like, this looks crazy. And that has 35 million views so far. It has 35 million views because so many people feel that he is ruining the team's chemistry. They saying, oh, he's being a cancer in the locker room. Actually, one of the top comments actually says, well, you're going to get traded because there's no need for you to comment on politics publicly like this. While Jaxson Dart is simultaneously being the one to introduce the 45th and 47th president of the United States, Donald Trump. And the reason why there's a problem with this is because they always keep saying, shut up and dribble, shut up and play football, shut up and do this, shut up and play your sport. There's no room for politics in sports. That's the reason why this is a problem, was because they always say that. Then Jaxson Dart turned around and was like, hey, this is raw man. I'm part of MAGA. This is what it is. And then everybody's like, oh, well, you shouldn't have called him out publicly. You should have called him or whatever. Well, the situation happened publicly. It happened publicly. So he called him out publicly to let him know, hey, I'm on your team, and I'm going to be considered one of the next generation players that's going to be on your team. What are you doing? And the reason why he feels the way that he feels is because the constant attacks on Iran and the Muslim community from the MAGA community. And he is Muslim. He's Muslim. So seeing the constant attacks from that community onto his community, and then he sees the quarterback of his team that he's on support that community, yes, that is conflicting. That is conflicting. Like, public, because it's public. Everybody practice what they practice in private and whatever it is, you know, but it's because it's public. So he's like, hey, I got to address this publicly. And we're not going to sit here and like play any games or mince any words with the situation, because it's been clearly showing that they are doing mad racist stuff, and then say, oh, we're not racist. We're just trying to keep it real. Like, and then they literally are supporting people like Chud the Builder. Literally, like 100% supporting him, to the point that even the companies are actually trying to bail him out and pay his bail $1 million. And it's like, we can kind of see, it's like a posturing. We can see obviously that it's like a posturing of they're ready for a civil war with us. But what keeps happening is their own people are beefing with them. They are severely underestimating how many other white people do not feel the same way that they do. It feels actually like almost a small population of, you would say, extremist Christians or MAGA to, you know, to go out and actually war. Because that's what we're seeing, the rhetoric. We can see with our own eyes the rhetoric of war, that we got to die, genocide, all this different type of stuff. We can see the rhetoric. So people say, oh, it's not that serious, so you just jam in words, and I'm not like, we can read online what is being said to us, literally. Especially when the whole Chud the Builder situation was going on. Yeah, you guys gonna finally get you guys reckoning. It's just a word and this and that. Fernando Mendoza cited missing practice not to go to the White House. He understood being the #1 pick in the draft. He understood the optics of it because he understands this is not about to last forever. This is not about to last forever. And they're like, what about the other teammates and, the other players that, came forward and supported him and stuff like that? And then everybody else, they did the same thing, made it very public that they didn't mess with them. Same thing, Lamar Jackson. We still look at him a little sideways like, what you want? Because it's not about the political affiliation. It doesn't matter if you're, Republican or Democrat. It's just the fact of like, what are you aligning yourself with when it comes to being, okay, anti-white, anti-black, anti-Asian, we're talking about there's a subset in this political party that is calling for the death of other people publicly online with no problem. That's the problem. It's not the fact that, you don't like them because they're Republican, they're conservative. And no, man, do your thing. Get your money. That's the point. Of all it is just fighting over who get the money and where it goes. That's literally what this whole politics thing is about. Sure, cool, whatever. But when you're calling for the genocide and erasure of people is insane. No, not everybody. Y'all supported the hell out of ICE. And then once y'all realize, dang, ain't no Mexicans that come do cheap labor, everything's going to cost more. Now all of a sudden, we got to hold back. Got to hold back on immigration policies. Now all of a sudden the whole ICE thing dissipated. Everybody was selling out. Even Mexicans were selling out their own people for that bonus, just to find out that it's a 5-year bonus for a 4-year term, knowing the next president that's going to get in is going to undo that. It's called a pendulum swing. That's what it's called. It's called a pendulum swing. So when the pendulum swing, it's going to feel like the wrath of God when it swings back onto the same people that think during this election time that people are going to be erased, genocided, or mass deportation. They're not even, the math doesn't even add up with the deportations. More people are coming in than the people that are going out. So it literally does not even add up. And then more people are even being born. It's just not going to add up. They even try to take away the naturalization of citizenship and all of that. It's a blunder. Those are not the things we should be worrying about. We should be worrying about hyperinflation. Why gas prices are so high? Because they messed up that whole Iran situation is a blunder. So they say, you know what? We're going to go over here and take over Cuba. What? We're going to liberate Cuba. What does that even, what? What does that even have to do with anything? The quote unquote liberation of Cuba. What does that have to do with anything? The only reason Cuba is the way it is because they have the embargoes and they have the sanctions on them to where they can't even get any type of imports, and they learned how to self-sustain on that island, and they end up having free healthcare still. Embargoes on them, and they have the cheapest healthcare. Yes, all those embargoes and sanctions on Cuba, and we still had to watch Fahrenheit 9/11 to see people escape the United States to go get cheap inhalers because they were like 35 cents. That was from our time growing up. We saw that. Yeah. For them to do all those sanctions, they still have a better healthcare system than the United States. And then when we saw the whole healthcare situation, well, we put it all in the military. Everybody's going to see why we don't have free healthcare. And then Iran taught us something very well. Where a country that has 90 million people and 300,000 people a year graduate as engineers. We learned that from them. We learned that, yeah, they're like that. Or most of the Iranian population are engineers. Takes $3 million to take down a $15,000 drone. The math does not add up. It doesn't add up, y'all. Like, we got to start being real about what's going on. Like, all people got to do is do the research of what's happening. And then they think probably this weekend it's 50-50. Either we're going to have a deal or we're going to go back to war. They cannot afford war. They can't even afford a ground war. Like, the topography of Iran is worse than Afghanistan with their mountains. Even if they drop a nuke on Iran, the mountains still shields a lot of everything. So like, that's why everybody keep thinking, oh, we're going to drop a nuke on them. Okay. We're going to make them into a parking lot. They have the mountains. Nobody understands geography. We had geography growing up. It's not going to be as easy as you think. And then how many people are already over here from sleeper cell agents that everything, because we got a CIA. They don't got a CIA. Whatever, they're CIA, just like how they have the IDF in Israel. Same thing. IDF is considered, the boogeymen of this secret agency, CIA type of stuff that's going on. Russia, Putin, what is it? I can't even think of it. What was the RGB? I'll say RGB. What is it? RGB is the colors of LEDs. I'm wilding. But yes, Other countries have their own agencies, and I think that's the problem with white supremacy. The problem with white supremacy is thinking that you're supreme, the top, and nobody else has motion. Everybody else has motion and money. Iran showed, we really got oil for real. Y'all keep talking all this Saudi, Abu Dhabi stuff. We got paper. We got the oil. And we got the weapons and the soldiers and the military. Yeah, they conflicted over there in them Arab nations now because they like, dang, we flipped on them. We flipped on Iran. And they really like that. Yeah. It's stuff going on. And people be getting mad at my comment. You should have did research. You should do this and that. I'm like, yeah. And then when they go back and Google it, then now the comments be silent. Well, this is how I feel. This is my opinion. Opinions instead of the fact of what we're seeing with our own two eyes. I remember when the F-35 got shot down. After the Ayatollah got killed. And I guess the F-35, is it the F-35? I'm pretty sure it's the F-35. That's supposed to be the one that nobody can hit. It outflies missiles, bullets, other planes, and all of that. The Ayatollah died. A post came from the Ayatollah's account on X of them shooting down the F-35. And then they start shooting I think A-10, start shooting that down. The only thing they got left is the B-2 bomber. They showed videos of them having the drones, having our drones. Yeah, we don't even want to reverse engineer these. Yo, Iran was so formidable as an opponent that the U.S. had to reverse engineer their drones. Think about that. Let me say that one more time. Iran was so efficient with their technology that the U.S. had to capture and reverse engineer their drones. That showed there's another world power. So to go back all the way rewind into this Abdul Carter and Jaxson Dart situation, it is that serious because we saw what happened with Kaepernick. We saw what happened to Kyrie Irving. We saw what happened to where, athletes chose to take a stand on certain situations, but now when an athlete decides, okay, I'm gonna take a stand for what I believe in, Jaxson Dart and all this, it comes with great support. But then when the athletes of a darker hue, when they want to stand up, whatever, it came with so much backlash, cancel him, take his deals and all that stuff. Kyrie Irving had to go make a deal with China for his shoes, which is making more money than Nike now, making more money than he did with Nike. Other countries rock with us. So now we're like we said, we're seeing a bolstering and a posturing that is more prepared for war. Like, and we see that. We see it clear today. Like, we're gonna go into the final war. We're finally gonna get rid of black people because for some reason they think that black people are all Muslims now. I don't know where that started popping up on the internet that black people are Muslims and stuff. I'm like, most black people are Christians. Serve the same God as the people that hate us. The people, no, not all white people. Leave it up to the internet. Thank God I'm in the real world where I know and I can see it. And everybody has manners. Hold the door open for each other and all that. We live in a real world to where we can see that. The internet is just it's a subset of people. And then you get the people that, even though people are on their best behavior, we're in public, it's just your thoughts. The internet is basically with your thoughts. So they may be like, hey, hold the door open, say excuse me, thank yous, hello, sir, all of this stuff like that. But they might just, say the hard R in their mind, whatever and stuff. But it's like, well, I deal with it a different way. I'm over 6 feet tall, 250 pounds, whatever. So like I don't go through that. When I was younger, we went through that because I'm from a sundown town, but that's a whole other story for a different thing. But yeah, the whole Abdul Carter thing, like they're acting like he said something wrong. It happened in the public arena, so it was addressed in the public arena. And you're like, dang, that's how, because he look at it like, dang, that's how you feel? Like, we're coming from a regime that's attacking my people in my religion, and you basically like, hey, I'm with him. Like, this is what I am. Like, standing 10 toes down, that's what I am. And you're like, dang, we're on the same team. I feel like the Giants, with the owner and the coach, I feel like they would trade Abdul Carter. I feel like they would. That would be a very, 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 very dumb situation if they do that. That would be very dumb. Whatever team that he go to, like I commented on it. I said, yeah, Abdul Carter is a cancer to the locker room, man. Make him go suffer with the Buffalo Bills, because that's my team. I said, yeah, make him go suffer with the Buffalo Bills. Somebody was like, no, he need to suffer in Chicago. Hilarious. Everybody's making those type of jokes like, yeah, but y'all gonna trade him? Because this is the first time that we're seeing a player that mattered. Like the Kaepernick situation was more dimmed down a little bit due to the fact that he was already on his like way out like of his career. Like, he was kind of like fighting for a contract. I don't know. I don't want to be wrong with that, but he was kind of like fighting for a contract. And I think, no. He might have been at the height of his career with that. Hold on. He might have been at the height of his career with that. That might have been a situation. So, Abdul Carter, he's in a situation where I think he should be very leery of needles. The reason why I say that is because what happened to Tyrod Taylor. Because they wanted that boy to start so bad in San Diego that they broke Tyrod Taylor's ribs administering a needle. And then they traded him away. Because he was doing good. He was going to be the starter of the San Diego Chargers at the time. And he was looking like, we might have to keep him because they put all this money into Justin Herbert. Like, it was so obvious. Now, you can see the sports dirt every single time. So, I think Abdul Carter, be wary of them needles. Be wary of the massages. Be wary of whoever you're dating right now. I don't think you should date for the next few years, whatever. Because they might come up with allegations or all the different. They're gonna find some way. They're gonna find some way. That's how I feel. Honestly, like, we've seen this pattern. That be the thing about it, is like the lack of pattern recognition among the masses is crazy. You'll see somebody speak out against something, and the next thing you know, they get some random ass allegations, and people just literally just ride with it. Insane. People like, yeah. I'm like, yo, this not a pattern recognition to y'all. Like. Yeah, the cognitive dissonance to what be going on is insane. Like, anytime you see that, it's like clockwork. Oh, this person spoke against something. Next you know, allegation. This person's in jail. Now he got a random DUI. Now he got a random DV case. And so, he didn't sexually assault somebody or not. It's like, yo, what? It be so obvious, and then people still go for it. And it's like one of them things where it's like, I fully understand the masses is slow. I fully understand the masses go because they be like, you don't underestimate, like, how they talk about, like, the whole Trump situation and Trump taking over. And they be like, you don't underestimate the people, man. You don't underestimate the resilience of, U.S. citizens. I'm like, no. What George Bush did with the No Child Left Behind has done irreparable damage to cognitive and critical thinking to a T. People are that dumb. You have to think for other people in the situations that be popping up for real. So when you see these type of things and it happens, like I could say it right now. I could say, hey, they're gonna set up Abdul Carter, man, and they're gonna do it next week at 4:30 or something like that. It can go viral. It'll happen. People still go for it. Nah, because New York Post said it and you didn't. I mean, like, that's what they'll say. Because they'll be like, New York Post said it. Even though you said it, New York Post said it, and they have more followers than you, so it's true because they said it. So it's crazy. Let me repeat that one more time. People are so dumb. People are so dumb that they will believe the truth just because the person with more followers said it. So whatever goes viral the most is considered the truth. I could tell you something with video evidence and be like, this is the truth. I could come out with charts and everything. But yeah, let a news outlet come through with a text that says otherwise, and they have 100,000 more followers than me, the people will believe it and they will sensationalize it. That's how far we have gone straight away from critical thought. If this was a podcast, the episode will be called No Child Left Behind. Man, y'all be easy, man. I'll see y'all in the next one, man.